They actually did it. In the middle of a full-blown roster crisis, with the entire basketball world watching their every move, the Indiana Fever front office chose chaos over logic once again. This isn't just a questionable basketball decision. This isn't a small roster tweak. This feels like a move that completely ignores what this team actually needs right now. The news just broke, and the reaction is turning into a wave of frustration across the fan base. The Indiana Fever have officially opened their developmental contract slot, a spot they had been holding onto for weeks like it was something valuable. But instead of using it to address their biggest weakness, they doubled down on the one area they're already stacked in. They didn't sign a forward. They didn't sign a center. They signed another guard. Yes, an eighth guard. Let that sink in. While the entire basketball world has been pointing at the same obvious problem, the lack of size, toughness, and presence in the paint, the Fever front office added even more backcourt depth to an already crowded rotation. Fans are calling it a confusing, frustrating decision. Critics are questioning the direction, and the pressure around this move is only growing louder as the season unfolds. This isn't just a roster update anymore. It's become a statement, and not everyone is convinced it's the right one. And after this, fans completely lost it.
Oh my goodness! Herb Simon. In case you don't know who Herb Simon is, he owns the Indiana Pacers. He also owns the Indiana Fever. You got your ears on, Herb. I understand you're 91 years old. Whoever your handler is, whoever is running the entire basketball operations, something's got to be done. You got to do something about the leadership with the Indiana Fever, the front office, and one Stephanie White.
The math is what makes this feel so frustrating. Before this signing, the Fever already had 7 guards on the active roster. 7. You've got the generational talent in Caitlin Clark. You've got the scoring burst of Kelsey Mitchell. Then there's Raven Johnson, Tasha Harris, Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull, and Chitorai Walker-Kimbrough. That's more than enough backcourt firepower to run multiple rotations in a league. But somehow, for this front office, 7 wasn't enough. They went and added an 8th. It feels like a roster that's slowly becoming overloaded in one direction, while the real problems are being left untouched. A group that should be balanced is starting to look lopsided, and fans are questioning the logic behind it. And to understand why this reaction is so strong, you have to go back to what just happened on Saturday night. The Indiana Fever opened their season against the Dallas Wings in what should have been a statement game for a new era. Instead, it turned into an overtime battle that exposed every weakness in the roster. The final score, 107-104. A painful loss that felt very avoidable. On paper, the Stars delivered exactly what you expect from them. Caitlin Clark finished with 20 points and 7 assists. Kelsey Mitchell exploded for 30 points. Aaliyah Boston added 23 points and 7 rebounds. The core trio combined for 73 points and played at a high level under pressure. And yet, it still wasn't enough. Because the moment Boston needed rest, everything shifted. When Dallas turned up the physicality inside, the Fever had no real answer in the paint. The bench unit struggled badly, unable to match the intensity or efficiency of the starters, and the momentum slipped away in key stretches. That's where the concern really starts to build.
Austin, you heard me say it. Stockton and Malone style. Stephanie White even said Stockton and Malone style. Before she even got hired, I was talking about John Stockton to feeding Karl Malone, and it was deadly. Nobody could stop it. And there has not been a damn thing that showed any team in this league could stop Caitlin Clark feeding Aaliyah Boston. But after 14 games, Stephanie White has said, nah.
The lesson from the Dallas game was written in neon lights for everyone to see. The Fever were out-rebounded by double digits. They were outmuscled. And in the most important stretches of the game, they were completely controlled in the paint. With Monique Billings sidelined due to injury, a major hole opened in the rotation. Myisha Hines-Allen had virtually no impact. Temi Fagbinel struggled to find any rhythm in limited minutes. And while Aaliyah Boston and the starters carried the load, The drop-off behind them was impossible to ignore. The only real bright spot in the frontcourt rotation was Natasha Howard, who gave them 11 points on efficient shooting. But even that wasn't fully maximized, with Stephanie White only giving her 18 minutes on the floor. And that's where the problem becomes impossible to ignore. The frontcourt is clearly asking for help. Aaliyah Boston cannot be expected to battle elite physical defenses for 35 to 40 minutes every night without wear and tear catching up. She needs a reliable backup center. She needs a power forward who can rebound, protect the rim, and absorb contact when the game gets physical. Everyone saw it. Fans saw it. Analysts saw it. Opposing coaches saw it. Size was the obvious need, and yet the front office responded by adding another guard. At this point, it starts to feel like a pattern rather than a mistake. The obsession with backcourt depth has reached a level that doesn't match the reality on the court. Raven Johnson was drafted at number 10 when forwards were still available. Lexi Hull was extended. Sophie Cunningham was added. Guards keep piling up while the frontcourt remains thin and overworked. Meanwhile, the paint rotation is hanging by a thread, resting almost entirely on Aaliyah Boston and a handful of inconsistent minutes behind her. It's a roster construction that doesn't just raise questions anymore. It challenges logic. And just when it felt like things couldn't get more frustrating, that's when it escalated even further.
Yeah, by the way, you're not doing all of that stuff that Stephanie White's been talking about. Oh, you're going into the blue tent and all that. You're not doing that unless there is an issue. Unless there is an issue. Otherwise, that's the first time I've ever heard of that in the history of sports. Me covering it and or consuming it. First time ever. We have signed a guard, Bree Hall, to a player developmental contract. We have signed guard Bree Hall. I got nothing against Bree Hall, but it's a guard. I mean, we needed guards like we need to catch rabies. I mean, seriously. Like we all need the swine flu.
The timing of this developmental signing is what makes it feel like a psychological gut punch to the fan base. Developmental roster spots are meant for young players with upside, players you can slowly develop, nurture, and eventually turn into contributors. But in professional sports, timing and context change everything. By using that slot on another guard at this exact moment, the front office is sending a very clear message. They do not see the frontcourt as an urgent problem. Instead of addressing size, rebounding, or interior defense after getting physically overwhelmed by the Dallas Wings on national television, they appear to be doubling down on the same small ball philosophy that just got exposed. That decision now puts Stephanie White in a nearly impossible position. She was brought in to elevate this team, to maximize the connection between Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, and to build a system where elite guard play and dominant post presence work together at a championship level. But how do you run that kind of two-player synergy when the supporting cast doesn't balance the roster? How do you create space for Caitlin Clark when opposing defenses can load up on the perimeter, knowing the bench front court doesn't consistently punish them inside? Right now, it feels like the coaching staff is being handed a limited toolkit and asked to construct something far more advanced than the personnel allows. And for the fan base, that disconnect is exactly what pushed everything over the edge.